shim shimmity shim shim shimroo. What you know about that? Oh my goodness. I appreciate you being here, Evan.
That.
I believe this is the 12th episode of the Dap in the Hood podcast that I've recorded. So it's an honor to have you here.
Honor to be here.
Right. And like we talked before, I'm gonna let you provide your credentials to the audience.
Bet. So my name's Evan Gertis. I have a PhD in computer science from the University of Georgia in Athens, master's degree in computer science from Georgia Southern, and a bachelor's in physics from UNC Chapel Hill. Go Heels. So a lot of schooling, but I'm going to be the first one to say that in this day and age, none of that stuff really matters, and we're going to get into that.
So if you didn't know, he is the expert. He's the expert.
Too much credit.
Host. All right, we're going to go ahead and dive into this. So what drew you into physics?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I became very inquisitive when I was living in Ecuador. I was teaching English.
Wow.
I was exploring the Amazon. I started to look at everything. I said, wow, all this must be connected somehow. And I said, I got to understand what is the fundamental makeup of nature. Like, what is the fundamental reality? Came home. Was like super serious. Got right into physics.
Wow. And talking about physics, there are like four main branches. You have the mechanics, the thermodynamics, the electromagnetism, and the modern physics. Can you kind of briefly go through those and break them down?
Yeah. The four branches of physics, like you said, you have mechanics, electromagnetism, quantum mechanics, and thermodynamics.
So if you're listening, the modern is kind of like the umbrella, and the quantum is under the umbrella, right?
Yeah. Modern physics is what would be the sort of era of physics that started to appear after the 1920s.
Yeah.
And quantum mechanics sometimes gets put into that.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, mechanics is the most applicable field of physics. If you're into working out, you're into going to the gym, it's great to study that because basically it teaches you how forces interact with each other.
Right.
So there's a reason why people are doing overhead press, bench press, and all these other sort of presses with push-ups combined, because that extra force gives you that resistance. And when you expose your body to those like very painful exercises like push-ups, that's great for muscle, like it's great for muscle growth.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do other exercises that challenge muscles in a different way that you normally wouldn't typically do it, like a bench press or overhead press, those are great exercises to do because they're forcing your body to change. And so that kind of ties into thermodynamics.
Mm-hmm.
So thermodynamics is mostly focused on energy. So you're studying energy levels. So it says that energy can never be created or destroyed.
Right.
So with that being said, it's kind of like people are like, I'm going to go super hard in the gym. I'm going to go super, super hard. And then the next day they're like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Right. So an analogy for that is like, you want to think about equilibriums in thermodynamics. Like you want to make sure you're getting enough rest in between your physical activity. You want to make sure that you're getting enough physical activity so you're getting enough rest, keeping things in balance. And it goes back and forth like that. But like if you want to like see like a way that you could think about thermodynamics right now, the words that I'm speaking are going out into the air that's reverberating in an air wave that's creating a level of friction on the microphone, which is then transferred into the magnet that's vibrating inside the microphone, which then vibrates in the magnet in the headphones, which then turns into airwaves, which then turns into friction into your ears, which then turns into friction into the audience's ears.
That's awesome, bro.
So that's how that works.
Thank you for breaking it down like that.
And so the electromagnetism part ties in right there because that magnet moves back and forth. When a thing moves back and forth, it creates a frequency. That creates a change in voltage. That change in voltage is a change in energy. It's kind of like if you poke yourself with a pin.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what causes the sound.
Right.
And quantum mechanics ties into all of this because without quantum mechanics, there wouldn't be a way to encode this. So for all the listeners who are paying attention to this, whatever I'm saying gets turned into an electric signal. That electric signal is then read by a machine, and the machine says whether it's on or off, which then gets turned into a digital recording, which then can be transferred and played again. That same signal is extracted from that recording, which is then transduced into audio, which everyone can hear.
Wow. Can we circle back to the thermodynamic aspect? What can you say about the sauna with that, and what effect it has on the body?
That's a great question. I think sauna usage is great because what it does is it brings your body up to an elevated temperature. When you expose your body to a very high, like a very hot temperature, and then a cold temperature, that is great for circulation. It's also great for skin. You'll see like a natural, the more that you do, if you take about 30 days and you stay in a sauna and you take cold showers for about 30 days, you will notice a difference in your skin. A lot of people compliment me. They're like, wow, your skin's like great. I'm like, yeah, I don't have enough time to take a hot shower. I go in the sauna right after the gym, take a cold shower, wakes me up, keeps me fresh. And also we just talked about it, it's like a way of like you're bringing your body up to an unnaturally like high temperature and then back to a cold temperature. It makes you more adaptive.
Now, that stress that you're putting on your body, it releases like heat shock proteins, and then when you're doing the cold plunge or the cold shower, it's releasing cold shock proteins. Correct?
I'm not too familiar with the way that it works with proteins. I'm more familiar with the way that it interacts with your circulatory system.
Okay.
So when you expose yourself to cold water, what that does is it puts your body in a state of shock. Yeah. And when you expose your body to heat, it's the same thing. So what you're doing is you're creating shock. You're making your body more adaptive.
Yeah.
So your circulatory system tends to run more frequently. You'll notice better blood flow. And people even find that it's like, they talk about mental clarity, like a runner's high. Like after you take a cold shower, you're like, that dude's chill.
Yeah, you get that dopamine in it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. That's the most natural and best way to get it.
Yeah.
And it sucks. You gotta suffer to get in there. But what they say, I mean, anything in life worth having, you have to work for.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of along the same lines.
Yes.
But
absolutely.
Cool. How did you begin translating that knowledge into real world pursuits like tech, business, and leadership? The physics knowledge.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, I was involved with a kind of like a hacker space in Augusta, Georgia. And this was after I got my degree in physics, and I was there and I was like, I'm feeling very ambitious. I'm feeling like very entrepreneurial. I really want to like make my mark. And I was writing code, working for people, hustling. I had a leather jacket and a laptop, and I'd show up and like make a website and get paid in cash. So it was great. I was really excited. And then I started to do that. I built a lot of community relationships, like an OG hacker. Oh. And people were like, yep, that's the guy who'll like whip up a website for you and meet you at Starbucks, So I was like really living my life, having a great time, got into a really amazing tech company, and my whole entire relationship fell apart because it required like a lot of changes. And I was dating a medical student at the time. So it was like, she was not on board with that at all.
Yeah.
She was like, I need my time. So the whole entire relationship got completely destroyed in COVID. And I stuck through it with this job, and I wrote down, I was journaling, and I was like, I wrote down, I'm like, I want to get really good at my job. I was like, I want to get good at my job, dude. So I spent like a year like working like a maniac. I'm like, I'm like coding all the time. I'm like doing all this stuff, and I'm being mentored by an ex East German police officer.
Okay.
He's like a leader in tech. He's like guiding me through every step. He's like, you got a plan. He's like in German. He's like, you must have like a plan. You must have like a plan put together.
That's good.
So we can achieve the objective.
That's scary.
It's definitely scary, bro. Definitely scary.
Shiver me timbers.
I know. So the talk about the world shutting down. I'm like, I got nowhere to go. Like, there's no jobs. Like, I gotta stay on track here. And then my master's program at night. I got like a Chinese mentor, like telling me all this other crazy stuff I got to do at night. And then I have this like day job that I'm doing with all this code. And so I got really good at planning. And I think that's where leadership comes in. Right. A real leader has a plan. And within like less than like a year, I became the head of the security department because I was like task oriented. I was like, you have to show results. That's the other thing. You hear people say you have to show value. You have to show something. A real leader shows someone how to do something. They were very good at teaching. So that coincides with physics. I'm like, a real physicist knows how to take things down, break them down into simple terms. The people who are like fake it till they make it, they're like, it's like in a research paper. It's like, no, like give me like the real deal. Like, how does this really work? So I think going through that phase of like being broken down and then building myself back up and then becoming the security leader and then climbing to the top was a great way of teaching me leadership. And the entire time that I was doing that, I was journaling every morning and I was reflecting every morning. Number one, it started with a Christian devotion, and then I would follow with a Stoic journal. And then I would follow with The Daily Laws by Robert Greene, who's a profound author in power, seduction, strategy.
Speaking of authors.
Yes. So that's kind of like I ended up writing a book about leadership.
There you
And I think for anyone listening to this, what I would say that you want to take away from that is like, don't follow the path that I went. Just start journaling now and like start taking awareness of how easy it is to do that in the morning and how easy it is to prevent conflicts, like ending a perfectly good relationship over some like petty thing in a job, and like how easy it is to go find another job and not be stuck under someone who's like probably not the best influence. Like I definitely learned things from him, but was he evil? 100%. Like dude was definitely evil.
Yeah.
So like you have to take the good and the bad, but it's so easy to get like tied into that. And I think one of the things in physics is we're always talking about like the environment that you're in. And so if you think about kind of like your environment and like who you're around, journaling is such a great way of like preventing yourself from going down the wrong direction, and like a great way of like reflecting, because people want to be honest with themselves.
And you'll see patterns.
Yes. I know what my patterns are. I know what my weaknesses are. My weaknesses, like my weaknesses, this is like a fair warning for everyone on here. Like we're all inclined to go after easy money. We're all inclined to go after easy results. And now, like after going through all this, I still find myself doing it. But the more that you journal, the more you're like, that's going to take a week. That's going to take like 3 months. This has got to get broken down. I got to get more support. I got to connect with more people.
Right. The connecting with more people thing, like we talked about earlier, man, that is so clutch. And that's like the last thing that we have to hold on to is like literally like each other for humanity. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know where this is going, the whole AI thing, but we going to see. I'm trying to keep my connection with my people, man. That's why I'm doing this, like for the community and stuff like that, to have these conversations.
I mean, you're doing a great job. You're like coaching your daughter's volleyball team.
Thank you.
You're leading in your community, showing up to the gym consistently. I see you at the gym more than anyone else, like usually. So, I mean, that just speaks volumes, because a lot of people just miss that mark.
Hey, that's my medicine, bro.
Me too, dude.
That's my prescription right there.
That's right.
All that and jiu-jitsu. Now, well, see, I don't know like literally anything about coding. So I just basically jotted down a couple things right here just to kind of throw out there, and maybe you can touch on a couple of them. And like the basics is like, basically what coding is, it's the writing instructions that a computer follows, right? And then you have like Python, JavaScript, whatever. And then you have like the key ideas of it is like the algorithms, right? And a lot of people, I didn't know what an algorithm was until a couple years back.
Right.
No, I know Snoop Dogg dropped the album called Algorithm or whatever. Shout out to Snoop, Uncle Snoop. But yeah, then you have cloud computing, and then you have cybersecurity.
Right.
So did you focus on any specific area in those?
Well, I'll go back. Yeah, I'll go back to what you were saying. Like you were talking about kind of like the definition of coding and how it's like instructions for a machine. Really, if we go all the way back to the beginning of the podcast, how did I get into physics? I wanted to understand nature at like a fundamental level. And so when you ask yourself that question, you keep going through these classes and stuff, you're like, well, what is an electron? That's what you're trying to figure out. But it took well over 10 years to figure that out. And a part of that journey was figuring out what is a computer.
Right.
Because people can be machines too. Our brains are computers. We're interpreting the sounds for the listeners that are coming out of here. Mm-hmm. This is going directly into your ear. That signal is being transduced into something that is like a signal in your body. Mm-hmm. Everybody's brain is different, and everybody remembers things completely different.
Yeah.
So our programming is in our brain.
Right.
And we can reprogram ourselves any day. It's a choice. It's literally a choice. And so I wanted to understand how a computer works at a fundamental level. So to bring this back to the original thing, like in thermodynamics, so some people can understand like an application of physics. Whenever I speak, this microphone is reverberating back and forth, and it turns into a signal which is measured between either 0 or 5 volts. That's read into the digital signal as either a 1 or a 0. Then when someone turns on this podcast, which everyone should do every single day because Sadaro's awesome, right? You get great information all the time. It's local. It's wonderful. And so you're hearing that, and then you're getting this positive message, and this positive message is helping you, who's listening, reprogram yourself to become a better person. That's what we're trying to do.
Right. And I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask, like, what do you do every day to reprogram your brain?
That's a great question. I do not trust my intuition. I try to not put my intuition first. I try to set goals. And if you want a real application of how you can take advantage of AI and human relationships, it's very simple. You can just create a spreadsheet, list out the different goals you want to achieve for your health, list out the financial goals you have for yourself, and start with that. And then copy it and put it into AI and ask for specific instructions on how to achieve that. Now, the warning is before you do anything that a blind robot would do, call me or call Sadaro. Call one of us. Call a friend. Call your next door neighbor. Be like, hey, like I'm thinking about like making like this change. I want to join the gym. You know, I want to try different tea, or I want to kind of like follow like some of these like tips that Sadaro's sharing with me. Like, what do you think about this? It's a great way to start a relationship, because the next thing I would say is write down what they say is the feedback and then make a plan around that. Because then you're not going blindly into a situation with AI. You're going into it with human intuition. You're going into it with your intuition. You're going into it with AI. And then you're making the most effective, like the most informed decision you can possibly make every day. And it does take time to do. It's not like natural. But you know what? We're talking about programming. We're talking about how to reprogram your lives. Like life is the matrix. It is. We get to make the choices. It's the thing is, it's the discipline of how you're going to make that choice.
Wow. There's a song that I love. I just got to mention it, man. It's by the Locks. It's called The Comeback, and there is a verse where Styles P says, "I'm at the matrix nucleus. Shadow came to the mirror, said I was the spookiest." I just love that, bro. I don't know.
That's a dope track, dude.
Bro, like I'm at the matrix nucleus. I just love that. I had to throw that out there.
Right.
Now, so you talked about, you know, basically. Well, hold on, let me back real quick. So from engineering to coding and cybersecurity, can you walk us through like that turning point? Like, I'm trying to figure, like, how did you do all of this? And like, can you just kind of take us through that path of how you were thinking? And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think a lot of people would look at my path and, you know, they would say, wow, it's a lot of like schooling. And it was. And it all started with just taking a look at this book called The Feynman Lectures. Richard Feynman was a really renowned scientist, and he was very funny, very personable, and he was like a leader in his field. He actually won a Nobel Prize, and he was a leader in quantum mechanics. I really always admired his sense of humor. And so for anyone who's listening to this, if you take a second, you like just go on YouTube, you look up Richard Feynman, you will find the most entertaining physics videos. He was so funny, so realistic. He would like embarrass himself, but he would explain things in such practical terms that everyone could understand it. And when you do that, it's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to help my son build a skateboard like ramp. All right. Yeah, I know how to do it because I know how to measure it. I know what the forces are that go into it. Very practical things that I did when I was a kid. And then later on, I was like, oh, you know, like how does that actually work? And then I started with physics. I had like a kind of unusual track. I was like, all right, I came back from Ecuador. I don't have like the background in math to be a physics genius. So I had to take classes at CPCC. One of the professors there was like, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to do math every single day. And so then I was literally at the whiteboard every day making these like diagrams going back and forth. And then I went to Chapel Hill, same thing. I was like relentless. I was always like what's going on? I was like hounding my professors. I was like, how does this work? What does this do? And then I worked for one of the best Polish professors that was there. He put me in charge of his classes, and I started working with electronics. I'd already figured out how to make my own radio, but then I started like really getting into like teaching students how to like measure signals. And then I went on to get my degree in computer science because I was so enamored with coding. I was like, you know, there's these machines are talking to each other, and I can create my own world in this machine. And while I was working for a company, I started to get into what's called the semantic web. So everyone who's like listening to this, a lot of the times you're like, yeah, I'm not talking to a person behind this chat thing. You're not. It's a robot. And it's unfortunate. Yeah. It's unfortunate because we're losing that human interaction. We're losing customer service. We're losing that like, you know, joy of like getting something new that was made by someone's like own hands because this robot's talking to robots. So after all that, I was like, talking to my mentor at school, and he's like, you have to go on to get your PhD if you're going to teach. I said, okay, all right, I'll do it. Whoa, worst decision of my life, man. A degree in computer science is one thing. A PhD in computer science is like, you touch down, you're like sleeping on a floor, you have no money, you're like making your own soap with like apple cider vinegar, living like the super like difficult life.
Y'all taking notes?
All just to understand how to like program better.
Yeah.
And so I get out, and I ended up teaching for a little bit. I actually taught at the community college here, and I had such a crazy backlash from the people who run the community college, because I was like, yes, we're going to teach computer science, and we teach everyone in here how to make money using Microsoft Word. Why? Because I talked about at the beginning. I talked about when I was talking about the goals. I said financial goals. You want to have financial goals. So I was teaching the students how to like use these tools to like make money, how to be entrepreneurial. I bought a Christmas ornament for one of my students. I like walked them through the whole thing about how to like make a marketing letter. So the lesson that I learned through all of that is, it's great to be enamored with learning, but there's a limit to it. Like you really got to like, at the end of the day, you got to provide. And I think what I would say is I'm not deterring people from pursuing higher education, but do I think with AI and with the right connections, you get a business degree in like 3 months? Yeah. On your own.
Wow. I mean, we have to figure out the paths of how to do that. You know what I mean? Right. And I couldn't go to college right now. I can't afford that. You know what I mean? It's so expensive. And I'm very curious and intrigued to see how the whole like college thing is going to be within the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. Because we were talking about it. I think like maybe for anyone listening, the benefit that I got from college, I think I would say like is the number one thing that you get in college are your connections. No
Networking.
Networking. Yeah. Networking.
Right. Now, did you do like a code boot camp? Did you go through that?
Yeah. So if we go back to when we were talking about how I got into leadership.
Yeah.
When I was living in this city, Augusta, Georgia, I was really into coding and spending time in an innovation space, which I would highly recommend anyone who's like listening to this, take time to go out to a cafe and just like work. Like don't work in isolation. Like make sure you have like time to go out and like work in public because you're going to meet people. And I started doing that more frequently. I found I was way more productive. I was around entrepreneurs. I was thinking entrepreneurially. And then eventually, everything fell apart in my life in COVID. And then I was journaling so much. I was like, oh, you know what? Where's like the one place that like felt like home? Oh, that's right. There's a place with like a supportive network where there was like a coffee pot. People were sharing ideas. There's great music. You could focus. And so I went back to that same exact environment. And sure enough, yeah, I hit a lot of success. I ended up actually teaching a code boot camp because I was studying programming while I was getting my master's degree. And I was like, all right, great. And so all of my students actually went on to get jobs at major FANG companies.
Wow.
And we use free resources on the internet for everything.
Yeah. Speaking of resources, I just want to kind of go back to what you just said. I got chills. I don't know why, but because like the human like connection, those relationships, that is so vital. Just keeping those relationships. And I honestly don't know where I was going with that, but it's important, y'all, just to like reach out to somebody and ask them before you go ask a computer.
Now, do you think
I think that's very important. I don't know why. That's why I wanted to bring that back up. It's just something about that whole concept that people might be like, oh, he don't know what he's talking about, or maybe overlook that. But I take that serious. Like I was telling you, I had a question regarding something to do with a business thing. And I called one of my friends, and he didn't have an answer. He was just like, just Google it. I was like, well, bro, I know I can Google it. I wanted to reach out to you, to talk to you. You human, you my friend, or whatever. So, I'm just saying that's one of those examples where that there's that line, man, and it's a gray area, but I like to keep it separated.
Now, do you think that comes from like your sense of purpose?
What's that?
Like your ability.
Oh, because
it's very easy to connect with you.
Well, thank you. I bet that is what it is, man, because like I was off of social media for like 15 years as far as like Facebook, because I could see where the direction it was going. People online arguing back and forth about you name it. Y'all all know what people argue about. So I'm like, I don't want to get involved with that. That's that negativity that I don't need to consume that mentally. I don't need that in my life. And also, I'm like, if I don't talk to you on a daily, weekly, or a monthly basis, I have no business knowing what's going on in your life.
Right.
And for damn sure, you don't need to know what's going on in mine. You know what I'm saying? But Now, like working after getting my degree at Winthrop in business administration and concentration in international business, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to travel and make money. Like I love to travel. You mentioned Ecuador. I want you to I want to talk about that later. But I've been to Puerto Rico, France, and Spain. Like I'm saying, with school and everything like that, and I love the traveling. So with that being said, working these jobs after getting my degree didn't really have a purpose. You know what I mean? Yes. And I was just like, I got to find a job, pay my bills, whatever. Just out here like a zombie, bro, in the hamster wheel. And that's basically what's been going on with a lot of people out here. And then I decided that, I got to go out on my own and do something to help people around me. That's my purpose. I mentioned in previous podcasts that I surrendered to Christ. And that's when things just went crazy, bro, in a positive way.
Right.
And it's just been on and popping since then, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yes, to basically answer that does align with my purpose. Talking to people, hearing people's concerns. Everybody talking about all this stuff behind closed doors and having these open discussions. That's gonna connect with people automatically. Like this is undeniable, and my heart is in the right place. So, did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head because I think what we're talking about is like people are so eager to reach out when they need something, but then when you look at it like the way that we're looking at it, it's like I got a lot on my plate, man. Yeah, I got kids, I've got relationship issues, I've got health problems, and they're like, all right, I'll figure that out later. No, just like tell your friends. Just be like, hey man, I'm kind of going through this. Like, how would you make it through like a challenging time? Like, what do you do? Oh, I connect more with other people. I make a plan.
That's how we were built, like with tribes, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like it say, it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
I mean, the village is the village. Like, I had a thought that came to mind one day when I was in my garden picking tomatoes or whatever I was doing, picking peppers, picking out weeds, whatever. And I was like, man, I just got to tend to my garden. Just got to make sure I'm good over here. I'm tending my garden. And I'm like, well, my garden actually extends further down my backyard where my cousin live at. And I'm like, well, it actually extends this way, that way, your county. It's everywhere, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to help everybody. I want to start here. And I want my message, our message, the experts that come on here, friends, family members, whoever. Like, this is very powerful stuff. And it's going to help people by providing this knowledge. These conversations hopefully are comical at times. And just to give everybody just like, okay, I'm not the only person thinking this. Now maybe that we're having these conversations, maybe some of these people out here who making the decisions about the infrastructure of the roads or whatever, they can wake up and say, all right, well, we can hear the people. This guy has a podcast and people are listening. And they probably agree with it too, but I'm not going to get into all the politics of it all. I'm not whatever, but something going to have to change, bro.
Yeah. I mean, we
just
gave like your listeners like the perfect cheat code for getting out of it. Like you can use a simple sheet on like Apple numbers on your iPhone, pop that thing open, put in your goals, put it into ChatGPT, send an email to Sadaro. Like, there you go. Literally, that is a cheat code right there. You can literally become a different person if you take that one step today.
Yeah, thank you, man. Deep stuff, bro. Now, with your work with systems and security, do you find yourself still thinking like a scientist, testing, measuring, refining, like in your daily activities?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Very focused on goals. And I'm always like, you know what? I don't feel like, going through doing body measurements and like looking through my bank accounts and looking through my investment accounts and updating the spreadsheet every day and every week and every month. So I don't feel like doing it. But if you just do that, that's going to always lead to like you taking some sort of action in a positive direction. So I still think like a scientist because I do track my right arm, right quad, left quad, calf, left calf, waist, neck, chest, and I track my net worth. And what you'll find is when you do that, it teaches you lessons that your body fat will increase the more money you make. It will, dude. It will. And your relationships will become a little bit more difficult the more money you make. relationships
money we come across, the more problems we see.
You're gonna be calling a lot more people when it dips down too. You're gonna be calling a lot more people, but it always brings you back to balance. And I think that that's the thing that we're always looking for, and that's the key that I'm always trying to focus on. I'm like, I don't ever want to be one way or another. I want to be like right in the middle, like balanced life, where it's like, you know, you're not like overdoing it, you're not undoing it, you're trying to stay on track. So it's like keeping up with changes. I track that on a regular basis. In the scientific part about that, I use AI to really kind of refine a lot of that. And I know AI is usually going to spit out something that's kind of crazy, but it does typically like teach you a few things. Like, what's the fastest track to wealth in America? Trading. Right?
Yeah, we about to get into that for sure.
If you have difficulty exercising, you will not have it anymore after you use ChatGPT, because I was the only one doing burpees this morning. I was like, yep, you want to get in shape fast, you're going to have to do some really hard work. If you want to like, you can tailor it. So that's the scientific part there, you know?
Yeah. You mentioned something earlier that made me think about equilibrium, just balancing everything out.
Yeah.
Is that hard for you to do?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. Because just like everyone, I have the tendency to be like, you know, like put in more hours.
The reason why I said it like that is because you obviously, I consider you a genius, man. And thank you for being here. But like,
I appreciate that. I don't know if that's true, but I appreciate it.
And just the way you carry yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like your aura, so to speak. And through our conversations, you're obviously good at what you do. So just like if you see an athlete playing ball, like say Michael Jordan, he makes it look easy. But he put in that work to get to that point. Obviously, I mean, everybody know that, but I'm just saying, like, you make it look easy, man. You know what I'm saying? To be so multifaceted and to have all these different areas of concentration, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Like, how do you manage all that?
That's why I'm exposing like these applications, because you'll find that a lot of people you see on Instagram or like these YouTubers are like, they're making it look easy on purpose. They're trying to like, you know, promote something that you don't necessarily need or some fast track sort of thing. So I'm sharing a lot of like these like very specific applications that people can use, because it does become easier the more that you plan. And that was how I made it through a lot of this. Is there's no like secret about it. If you can set an emotional priority, a relational priority, a physical priority, and then 2 financial priorities, and then write down why they're important, and then write down what you want to do, and then write down who can you connect with for advice, and then write down just 2 to 3 questions to ask them, and then call them while you're making your action steps. You can make progress today. That is really how I've been balancing a lot of this. So I can't take credit for a lot of my success. A lot of my success comes from like my circle, and I become those sort of people that I admire.
Nice. How did you first get started? How did you first get starting into trading and investing? Like, was it something that you always had an interest in?
I was broke.
Huh?
I was broke.
Okay.
I was broke. I was in Charleston. I was virtually living out of my car. I didn't even know it. I honestly was like, I'm like working, I'm like following, you know, I'm writing this book, and I'm like staying out of Airbnbs, and I'm like, man, I'm really like on the fringe of like being totally like homeless over here, right? And so I walk into this place called Hall's Chop House, which a mayor from Augusta had said, if you're ever in Charleston, you got to make sure you go to this place. I said, you know what, this guy's like the mayor of Augusta. He's a pretty cool dude. He's kind of like JFK. I'm like, all right, I'm going here. I don't have any money. So I go in, and I've got my phone and a phone charger. And I got like a $500 suit on because I'm an author. Not dumb. I'm like writing a book. So I go up to the bar, and I'm like, I don't even drink. I go, can I get an old fashioned? The guy's like, yeah, here you go. I was just trying to charge my phone, because I saw how expensive the menu is. I'm like, damn, I wish I had this money these rich people have. Right. So I'm sitting there, and I'm not the worst looking guy. I'm not the best looking guy. But this girl named Mercedes comes up to me, starts talking to me, and said, okay, all right, play this cool. Like, maybe I can get like a hot girlfriend or something. She might think I'm an author. She might be like, he's an author. That's kind of cool. So I'm talking to her, and then this other guy comes over, and he's like, hey, man, nice to meet you. I'm like, I'm trying to focus on this woman. I'm like trying to date her. He shakes my hand, and I'm like, yeah, so all right. Like, very like didn't mean to like shove him off, but I kind of did. So he goes, man, you really do not know who I am, do you? I said, owner. He's like, you ever seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street? I said, yes, I did. He goes, so you must know who Jordan Belfort is. I go, no, I don't know who that is. He goes, I'm the Wolf of Wall Street, dude. It's like, oh, okay. And so as soon as he said that, I immediately took out my iPhone. I was like, let me ask every question I can think of. Like,
Wow.
let me get rich tonight.
Wow.
So I'm asking him all these questions, and I have my iPhone there. And it's him and then like a couple friends and stuff. And this just kind of shows like how confident you are when you have wealth. I'm like so enamored by him. I'm like writing everything down. He like drank my old fashioned and stuff and like didn't even pay for it. He's like telling me all this stuff. And the thing that he said is he's like, when it comes to trading, you really have to go in the opposite direction of what everyone's doing.
Okay.
So to me, that meant like just get good at sales. Like people are not good at sales. So I was like, yeah, I'll take on that. And then I started to like really get into sales, retail stuff. So now that kind of like I started picking up trading, and I opened up a Schwab account after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like here's the real answer. I opened up a Schwab account. I bought into Calm, which was an egg stock, and I got all the phone numbers from everyone from that night. And I was asking them questions for like weeks from that point on because I had a plug for Masters tickets, and they all wanted to go. So I had the connection locked in, and I was like asking like which stocks. So I started to do that, and I was like I want to get better. I want to get my own. So this guy says you got to get on Bloomberg. So for people who really want to get into trading, here's the fast track on this. If you listen to Bloomberg between the hours of like basically 6 and 7 a.m., what they're giving you is liquid gold. They're telling you what the market is doing. You just need to have the attention span for about 15 minutes to extract the information that they're giving you.
That's going to be tough for some people.
It is. If you can do it for an hour and a half, I mean, you do that for 7 days, you're going to be making a ton of money. You want to get those ticker numbers, and then, I'll put my contact information out there. You can reach out to me, but you want to build connections with people who understand finance and start asking them like, how does this work? The easiest way to get started is to open an Ally account. So this is like fast forward a year after the whole trading thing. This is after I wrote like a whole book about budgeting and like was tracking my finances, because AI turned me on to the fact that trading was the like most lucrative thing. I kind of felt like that, but now I know it. Yeah. And so now I really focus on it. And so I opened up an Ally account. Ally account has no restrictions on trading. It's like you can have like up to $800 in there, something like that. And like you can start doing trading now. Before that happened, I got kicked off Robinhood.
I was literally just thinking about Robinhood because I have that app. Go ahead.
They kicked me off. They said, you're making too much money, because I was knocking on doors, working for Spectrum, and I was like doing trading in between door to door. I was like, all right, I'll never forget it. It was like in October like this. I was like shaking. I'm like walking up to the door. I'm like shaking. I got my iPhone in my hand. I'm like, oh my God, it's like the biggest trade I'm ever going to make. This is like 5,000 shares of Hecla mining. I'm like shaking. I did it. And I bought it right at like a perfect timing. It was like almost all the money I had. Flew up.
Wow.
Sold it. Made $5,000. Ever since then, I've said, no matter what I do, I'm always going to listen to Bloomberg in the morning, despite all what the people say about negativity and news. I'm going to get a little bit of information and then make at least an hour and a half of buying between 9:30 and 11:30 a.m. and at least an hour of selling between 2 and 3 p.m. If you can stick to that, that's how you get started trading.
Well, they say a man without a plan is no man, right?
Right.
Okay. With that being said, now, because like I have a degree in business administration or whatever, so I don't understand like the specifics of doing stocks. You know what I mean? I know that stocks are basically ownership of shares in a company. You know what I'm saying? And the price that moves according to the supply and demand. I get that. But then I see that there are a couple like approaches, like a fundamental, like analyzing the companies. That's part of the process. And also you have a technical, like the chart pattern, looking at the diagrams, if it's a stock up or down or whatever. You got like bull market or bear market, then diversification. Now, with that being said, like, what's your mindset like whenever you're dealing with stocks? Like, because trading can be very emotional. Like, how do you balance data and logic with instinct and psychology?
Yeah, that's a great question and a great segue in this, because for everyone listening to this, everything I just said makes it sound like, okay, like it's like super easy. You just got to be okay. You have to be very okay with risk. You got to be pretty like relentless and pretty fearless and being like, you know what, I know like this is just a process. It's like exercising. It's like you don't want to do it. You don't want to have to go to you don't want to do the workout. Same thing with trading. I made $5,000. I lost $5,000. I mean, so those are experiences that have changed me. When I was in security, I lost $164. I had $164,000 in my bank account at one point. And my team dropped the ball for delivery in October, and I had to give back $164,000. That day, I was like, I'm going to walk off a building, and I'm never going to come back. And I called, once again, 5 friends. And the guy said, you lost $164,000. What's going to happen in business? It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So, but to answer your question, how to like approach stocks without having that sort of crazy emotion.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone wants to turn themselves into a money-making and fitness machine, my routine would be go to the gym with a plan that you've developed either from a personal trainer or AI, and in between your rest periods, take the time to make the trades in the morning, and then keep an evening routine. If your job permits you to do an afternoon routine, and you can work out between 2 and 3 p.m. and do those trades at the same time, you can double up on your health and your wealth.
Multitasking.
Yep.
That's some serious multitasking, bro. I have a question, and I connect a lot of things with jiu-jitsu, and I want to see how you basically, do you see any similarities like on how systems work in physics and how the stock market behaves? Because hold on one second, the mindset, control emotion, jiu-jitsu, you know, you can't bring emotion in that.
I want to get your opinion.
The only emotion,
we got to hear what you got to say.
It's just like leaving your ego at the door, like leaving your pride at the door, and you going to truth to show and prove to yourself, to your coach, the comrades in the brotherhood, the sisterhood, everybody in the village of. Shout to Coach Joey Dean, and Coach Janae. Basically, like you can't have emotion in there. You have to control your breathing. You know what I mean? It's about respect. And you have to follow a plan as well when you're doing jiu-jitsu, thinking about the different drills. Okay, I'm going to look for this escape. There's going to be an opening. And it's just amazing to me how that kind of correlates to this. And then, wait, one more second. And then doing jiu-jitsu, you have to manage risk as well because, if I make this move, he going to catch me slipping, or she might catch me slipping, and he can get my back and put me in a chokehold, catch me in an arm bar, all that kind of stuff. So I just find it fascinating that how jiu-jitsu correlates with, you know, what we're talking about, and I'm sure physics does as well with like trading and stuff.
So like when you're in jiu-jitsu and
hey, hold on. I'm only a white belt now.
But when
I don't know nothing.
When you're preparing for that, do you have like written plans down for like different routines you're following in that sort of situation?
Honestly, bro, the only thing that I have planned is to be open to learning and paying attention to the detail and retaining the information in the drills. So when I drill, when it's time to roll, I can implement that. That's basically all I do right now. Once I get a couple stripes and go into the blue belt, I feel like that would be a better question for then. I could give you a lot more. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For right now, I'm just show up, focus, locked in, leave everything else outside. I mean, like literally everything, because it's so meditative. Like when we're drilling or rolling, I ain't thinking about nothing else. I'm not thinking about like literally nothing else. That's all I'm focused on, and it's beautiful. It for like the mental health aspect of jiu-jitsu, that is a very meditative thing to do. Just like people that shoot pool, if you playing golf, lifting weights. I mean, you know, whatever you're doing, like if you meditate, you know, it's all positive on our overall like existence.
Now, how would someone get started in jiu-jitsu? How would they get into that? Well,
we are located right off of Highway 5. Matter of fact, we just expanded. We tore down the wall in the section of the shopping mall adjacent, right over there across Northwestern High School off of Highway 5. I guess it's also Main Street. I call it Highway 5. But just come in there and check it out. Come check us out. Bring your kids. It's very good for like anti-bullying and stuff like that. It builds children's confidence, their esteem. you know, it helps them. It helps me with anxiety, so I'm sure it would help them as well. I really wish it was there back then, which it was, but it wasn't like known as much. I didn't know anything about jujitsu. You know, I watched a bunch of like Bruce Lee movies, and I got into Taekwondo. Shout out to Master Pat.
I like that. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, just go on Facebook, IG, Carolina Family Jiu-Jitsu. It's all love and respect up in there, man. Just like this podcast. It's all
Carolina
love,
Family
respect
Jiu-Jitsu.
and love, adapting to her. That's what I keep saying, bro. Like, I'm not playing about this, and ain't no playing in jiu-jitsu. It's fun, but the thing about it is, it's so fun. It's like a chess game in your mind, bro, and like you're building these relationships and this camaraderie.
Amazing.
And that's what a lot of these people out here missing. They ain't got nothing, man.
Yes.
Like, I mean, you know, you got to have something to believe in. You know, I'm not gonna say, hey, I'm not gonna push anything down anybody's throat regarding Christ. I'm not gonna do that. They will see. People know me, and I'm awakened. I'm here. I'm motivating people. I'm inspiring people. The change is all over me. I can hear it in my own voice. I get chills when I talk to people. I give people chills. So I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. But what I'm saying is, outside of that, you have to have some type of outlet. You know what I mean?
Right.
To connect with people, to exercise. If you're taking like walks with people, just whatever you're doing, you got to get outside and do something. You got to stay active. And I think just jiu-jitsu in itself is remarkable because you can tap. Now, before your bone gets broken, you can tap. And the people that you're doing it with, you know, you like literally trust them with your lives. I mean, they're going to let you go. Nobody's in there trying to harm anybody. We're all trying to learn and teach each other. And Coach Joey made a very good point about a week and a half ago. He was like, y'all are just paying us just to basically monitor and make sure that y'all are doing this in a safe space because y'all rolling together. Y'all are teaching each other.
Wow.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be in a position and somebody I'm rolling with will be like, oh, okay, you doing it like that, so I did it like that. But see, you taller, so it'll be easy for you to do it like this. Bro, it's off the chain, bro. I love it.
Now, you said that you're like in Carolina Family Jiu-Jitsu, so shout out to Carolina Family Jiu-Jitsu. But you were an athlete before, I imagine, right?
I just played football and basketball in high school.
Just played it.
Nothing
but like
collegiate.
you grew up in sports. I think that's a key thing.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I think that's something like people listening to this that they should really pay attention to when you get your kids engaged in sports, things like that. Then like going on and getting a degree in physics and all these other sort of things, those are natural things that are going to happen because you want to be in like an environment that's competitive, something that forces you to like pay attention in school because just being like, you know, like complacent in life, you know, just sitting around and being like, you know, one of these days, it's not a good way of living your life. And it sounds like Carolina Family Jiu-Jitsu is like a great outlet for people to connect with real people, to have real relationships and real conversations and real accountability.
Bro, like, I hope my daughter gets back into it. She was in it for a while. But I can teach her stuff that I learned. Why would I not do that? Why would I not want to do that as a man with a daughter?
Right.
If I had a son, I had the same mindset, but definitely for a female, man. And that's what, as parents, we got to do. We got to teach our kids everything that we know and provide more knowledge for them outside of what we know. And that's why I love doing this because I'm educating. Like, she'll go back and listen and watch some of these down the road, and, you know, she'll be like, wow, Daddy, I remember that day you was talking about you had a podcast with the guy from the gym. What's his name? Evan? Yeah, the physicist, all that. Like, that kind of stuff, that's cool, man. Like, those are connections that I'm like, it's going to be a lot of circling back going on with this. You know what I mean? As far as like the episodes, as this grows, people will start listening, and honestly, man, it's crazy that I'm even doing this. I feel like the first one I did is Supreme Nutrition. I thought it went well for my first one. You know what I mean? I'm not bragging by any means at all. I'm not braggadocious at all. But my point is, looking at myself on camera, hearing myself, I was in, like my cousin Tay said, I was in my element.
Right.
Like, this is. Yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this.
Right.
And I hope everybody out there can, you know, I hope, you know, you have your goals and your dreams. Be strategic on how you plan about doing things and make wise decisions and talk to people like he said, get advice. Wisdom is priceless. Like, we dropping knowledge and wisdom on this joint. So just make sure that you stay on point and come up with a plan like he said. You can throw out the 5 thing later on if you want to.
Sure.
That was very interesting what you mentioned earlier about the 5. But like, follow your dreams. Like, don't be deterred because, I don't want to do that because I might this. Just hustle, grind, save your money, invest wisely, holler at him about that, and come up with a plan and go for it. We only get a chance to live once. You can't, Don't sit up in that cubicle, back hurting, you're sitting, your posture ain't right, because the chairs ain't ergonomic. You know what I'm saying? And then you sitting there looking at the computer screen all day. You ain't really interacting with nobody. You get a little bit of chance to talk to people in the office or whatever here and there, and it's usually negative because you don't like where you at. Like, that's just toxic. Just please, follow your dreams. Reach out and talk to somebody that's done it. Get that advice. Learn from their mistakes. Because if they're a real, true, authentic person, they're going to be transparent with you about 99% of the stuff that's not personal to them. But business-wise, they will provide the knowledge for you to help you. We have to, as humans, be humans. I'm talking about resources. You mentioned resources earlier. AI is a great resource, but human resources, HR. Forget about, I got to go to HR because I got in trouble at work, or I got to fill out this paperwork for HR, this job. Think about the real humans, the real human resources on this earth. That's what we are. We represent that as a whole. Yep. Yeah, we're diverse in our ethnic backgrounds and all that, but at the end of the day, we all the same. We all have the same basic needs.
Mm-hmm. It's the combined approach that you're talking about. And I think it sounds like, to me, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like if someone's listening to this and if you feel like you're being passive, if you feel like you're being complacent, it's time for a change. And there's a lot of applications that we just gave you. You can just circle back through. Carolina Family Jiu-Jitsu, great place to start right there.
And shout out to Rock Hill Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu too, TMA. That's why I started it with them guys. Shout out to Jeff, Tyler, Corey, all y'all, man. Professor J, John Prado. Actually ran into him yesterday. He's a black belt. He teaches the kids now. Such a good dude, man. And I went to a BNI meeting yesterday, and just it's crazy that he was there. And we looked at each other, and I was like, I'm going to talk to you immediately after this. He called me earlier, bro. We going to get together and chop it up one on one. He going to help me. He was like, when you get to the point to where you're getting your accounting and your booking in order, I'm going to help you with that. But for now, I want to help you just as far as a business owner, how to make certain decisions. And I'm just so thankful, and my gratitude is off the charts, bro.
Right.
It's crazy how thankful I am about these people that are helping me.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And that's all I'm trying to do is help people.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically it, bro. That's all everybody be like, it's under your nose. It literally is the basic things that we need to do. We have to help each other.
Yeah. There's people in the community that will help you, and there's people that aren't going to help you. And when you reach out for advice and then you act on the advice, it's very simple. Either you're going to find out that they're lifting you up or they're bringing you down. So, honestly, it sounds like a great application from this. It's just everyone who's listening, just pause it, take out a piece of paper, and write down the 5 people in your circle. And then ask yourself, are these 5 people bringing me up or are they bringing me down? That's it.
Do it. We're going to switch gears here momentarily, but as far as people that are getting into trading, what are some of the most common errors that they make in the beginning?
The most common errors that people make in the beginning of trading is over-investing. The kind of miracle story I was talking about when I was knocking on doors and I bought Hecla Mining. Anyone out there right now could definitely take advantage of buying Hecla Mining. It's HL. So if you're looking for that, write down that ticker number, HL. It's about $12 a share. It was $4 when I got it last year. And so people are like, I'm going to go buy all in on Hecla. There's no reason to do that. What I recommend is that you start with 5 stocks that are under $5 and you have a portfolio of $50. Now, if you follow my advice about doing the 1.5 hours of trading while you're working out, if you do that, buying and selling, just listening to Bloomberg and getting the right information over a period of 1 week, you should see that $50 turn into about $500. If you do it consistently for about 3 months, you'll either be still at $500 or $5,000, but you'll learn as you're doing it. So it doesn't matter whether or not you get to the $5,000 or the $500. You'll learn as you go through it, because the thing that people will pay you for is the knowledge that you've developed. So it's the fact that you know what to trade in. Because if you have $500 left after 3 months, you've done it well, because you have to balance it. People are like, why are you selling A-Bus when it's down? I'm like, because I'm not putting more money into this. I'm going to take that money. I'm going to turn it into other money.
You put it in something.
I'm selling money into. I'm taking money and turning it into money. So whatever you put into the account, keep it at that number. Don't keep trying to put more money into it. If you want to like do like a $5 incremental thing, like sure, great, but focus on the process. Focus on the buying and selling first. Just focus on that, and don't like you have to get into like what is an option. What is that's just gonna create anxiety for you. Like just go with what Bloomberg says. The reason that Jordan Belfort told me you have to go in the opposite directions because he was just a guy who was good at sales. He happened to sell a bunch of lobsters at like amazing rate as a kid. I'm very similar. I worked at the mall. I sold fragrance like no one's business. I slap a $300 bottle of fragrance in your hand before you know it, you walk off with it. Why? Because I made it into an experience. That's the opposite of what you get in retail. And so a lot of people, what they would benefit from is like, just use your common sense with trading. Just use your common sense.
And trust the process.
Trust the process.
That's a frequent revolving phrase on this podcast. 'Cause that's what I'm doing, trusting the process.
Exactly.
Tunnel vision.
Yep.
Now, so we met at the gym. And as the assistant general manager at LA Fitness.
Should we tell them how we met? It's kind of funny.
You go ahead.
I was in the gym, and like what I'm talking about was, I'm like in the sauna. I'm like, you like money? You like money? I'm like, you're the top trades for the day, man. You're the top trades. And at that time, I had been mentioning, I think it was Plug Power, PLUG. So I'm curious, did you get some shares?
I ain't doing it, bro. I got a lot going on.
You got time. You got time to get shares.
See, like I'm really like the money will come later on. I'm focused on doing this work. But this is real work. And I'm not trying to be foul or be like talked down upon like the jobs that I've taken of what I've had in the past because I have created massive skills doing that. Now I'm applying them. So I appreciate, honestly, man, out of all the decisions I made, good, bad, ugly, I really don't regret them because I wouldn't be here. And people say that a lot, but there's a couple of them I could live without. But my point is, I wouldn't be here right now if I wouldn't have made those decisions. Like,
right.
At one particular, I'm not even gonna go there. Anyway, what was we talking about? How we met?
Yeah, we were talking about how we met, and I think that that's a really important thing for listeners to hear. Is like, if you are thinking about approaching people and you're like, man, I'm an idiot or something like that. No, just make a friend, dude. Make a friend. Yeah. Like you're meant to have like a conversation with people. I know some people are thinking, maybe some people might say the weirdest thing ever when they're meeting someone for the first time. But like, think about it. Like, if you're in a gym and you're like around other people, why would you not want to like share valuable information with them or like get feedback from them? You're in a place like think about like, I kind of think about the law of large numbers. Like you're going to want to meet as many people as you can. You're going to want to experience as much as you can. And I think it's really interesting how we met because we met ever since then. And we've been going to the gym consistently. We've been talking and like, I know you haven't gotten plugged yet, but like you said, you have a lot of things going on.
Yeah. And I know I was like the money to come down later. It's just, I got to get some time, man, to sit down and look at this stuff. And I will be calling you the day I made the decision. So, but you inspired me, bro. Like when we was in the locker room, we was just talking and you was like, you should write a book. I was like, I plan on it.
Right.
And, I'm definitely looking forward to doing that. Like, I'm going to do like I'm going to do a children's book. Yes. I'm going to co-write it with my daughter. Shout out to Lyric with a K. Like my shirt say Team Lyric.
Let's go.
Yeah, me and my mom and daddy and her mama and her other grandparents, like the day she was born, we all had these shirts on. So that's what this is all about, dog. Lyrical miracle, literally and figuratively. So how do you apply lessons from your physics and finance background to your leadership style at LA Fitness in the gym?
That's a really good question. And I'm excited to read your book. I think everyone listening to this should be excited because reading is one of the most it's like one of the most fundamental ways to grow. Mm-hmm. It is. So we were talking about jujitsu, and I know that you shared with me that you had a journal, and like you're following the journal, you were able to reflect and see like, wow, you know what, like I learned this move. I learned this move. I learned this move. And so the way that I'm able to manage all these like different things that I'm doing at LA Fitness, I still keep a journal, and I have what's like my workout journal. Like if you go to LA Fitness, if you've ever been to LA Fitness, it's awesome. They have like personal training, and then we have a workout journal where we put in all the workouts, and it's a grid. It's really detailed. You can put in exactly how many reps you did, whatever the weight was. So I fill that one out first. Then I fill out a budgeting journal, and then I fill out a daily planner, and then I fill out my schedule, and then I fill out kind of like what would be like an emotional journal. That's where I have like the sort of things where I'm like, all right, how has my routine helped me like feel more productive? Or what sort of habits could I incorporate to make more progress in my life? Or what different exercises did I enjoy the most about my routine? And so I save that one for last. 'Cause I'm like, if I make my goals around my health, my wealth, my time, and then my personal ambition, at the end of the day, that's the best I can do.
Hey, that time management crucial in it.
Yeah, and that's like about an hour. Like I write all that down, and that takes about an hour. And that's kind of how I got into writing books, because you can do that on your phone. You can do that on your phone, and all the books that I've written have been written off of journals and my phone that I've been like keeping track of. So that's it.
Thank you. So yeah, jiu-jitsu, time management. I had something came up, but it slipped my mind. Now, what's this inner growth training and services?
Yeah, so Inner Growth Training and Services was the cybersecurity company that I was running where, I made money, lost money. I took it upon myself after I like worked long enough. I was like, you know what? I see people making these classes for cybersecurity. They're not very fun. They're not very practical. And I've been saving my money, and I met the right people for my team. That's what I thought at the time. And we jumped on a journey, and there was a lot of failure. There was a lot of success, but it was a really beautiful journey because I put together 3 courses basically to teach people how to use algorithms, how to get into software development, and then how to break into security. And to this day, those are like courses that I have on Udemy. They have like 5 stars, but Inner Growth Training and Services, I came up with that name because I was like thinking, okay, I want to create a company that teaches people to grow. And for me, that the key thing for growth was having not just education, but like practical skills. And so I spoke at a bunch of different cybersecurity conferences, and it was all because I developed this very unique form of software development called developer security operations. And now it's pretty well known. People know about that. And I basically finished everything that I wanted to do in about 2 years. And so everything's out there. If people want to jump into it, if you're listening, you can jump in. You can go to Udemy. You can find developer security operations. That course now is outdated, but I have algorithms. I have software development, and I try to make it as fun as possible. I have like references to the Fujis in there. I'm like, this should be a fun class. Like you should want to get in here and like learn how this algorithm works. Everyone could take a lesson from graph theory and use it every single day. Graph theory sounds complex, but basically what it is it's a study of connected networks. And so if you think about planning out your day, when you use AI, like I did extensive research on AI finds the shortest path to a goal. And in graphs, like that's like a thing that's called A-star search. So it teaches you how to get to your goal in the fastest way possible. And so that's why I'm saying like take your information, put it into AI, fact check it with your friends, and then make a plan to achieve your goal. Because like in less than a week, you can be on track in a completely different way of life. You could level up. You could double your income. You can meet your significant other. You could find a better job. You can make better connections in less than a week.
Wow. The whole Batman situation with the tool belt. That's what we're doing here.
Yep.
Utilize it. The thought that slipped my mind, I remember what it was. It was about journalism. Joey Diaz talks about journalism a lot. He's a great comedian. And what I've learned lately is let me say this. I used to dwell. I would say I was a dweller. I would dwell on the past. you get in like,
Oh, yeah, we all do.
Why am
We all
like,
do.
like, how did I get here? Then you get to think about the past decisions and mistakes.
Can I go back?
You gotta flush that out of your
Right.
mindset. Really, like,
It's
I
gone.
think it's time for a paradigm shift. But my point is, like, it's important to reflect,
Yep.
not dwell. And it sounds like you reflect like on a daily basis almost.
Yeah.
That's what I be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's healthy.
It sounds like with jujitsu, reflecting was very helpful. And I think for people, it's like that isn't a very hard thing to do, but a lot of people refrain from doing it because they're like, I'm good. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I reflect on it. And what it does is it teaches you like what Sadaro is saying is the thing that people should write down. The past is the past. You have now and you have the future. That is it. You can learn from the past. That is not coming back.
Yep. And be present. Being
Right.
present is so crucial.
Being
bro.
present.
Now, I consider you very successful. What would be? I don't even like this question.
I appreciate that compliment.
I'm just gonna say this, man. Like, what would you say was the catalyst of your success in a way? I'm just gonna come up off the top of the dome with that. Like the catalyst of your success, and what does success mean to you?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. I wrote that question down. I did. I wrote that question down, and I can't like pull up what I have the answer as, but I was reading a devotional, and for like 3 years, I'd keep coming back to the same question about what is success, and I don't know what the exact verse is, but I know it was something that Paul had said, and it was related to being in a community.
Mm-hmm.
And I can attribute my success directly to the people who are around me. Because it's like you have that, you go through that like period, like people go, man, I was going through a rough time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met her. Man, I was going through a rough time until I got around the right people. Or man, I was going through that tough time until I found that church. I was going through that tough time until I found that gym. And when you just look at the frequency of it, you're like, because we're all thinking about time. We're all thinking about like, how can I make the most out of my time? Like, how much money can I make with my time? Like, we're all thinking about it. But if you're trying to constantly chase money all the time with your time, that's not a bad thing. Like, definitely do it. Like I said, start your day with financial goals. But think about how valuable it's going to be when you connect with other people in your present. Like that's the thing that I'm going to come back to. To answer your question, it's people. What is success? It's your network. It's your network. Because there's the common expression, your net worth is your network. And I just said it, like, if you call 5 friends before you make a plan, there's no way that you're like, it would be hard for you to go in the wrong direction. You see what I mean? It'd be hard to do it unless, and like, even if you start going the wrong direction, yeah, you're going to know because you've written it down. You're like, oh, I can see like I'm drifting into like a negative direction. But like, if you reach out, keep doing it, it's going to force you to join a gym, or it's going to force you to get around some community. So yeah, people.
We all we got.
That's right. We all we got.
We all we got. Early when you was talking in the beginning, people always asking like, "What's the science? What's the science?" This is the science. So I hope y'all taking notes and paying attention for real.
Yep.
And also, I don't get up like, how am I gonna make money today? I was talking to Jonathan Mix about this yesterday. We did a podcast, and shout out to him. And you can't serve 2 masters.
No,
that's it. You can't. I'm not gonna go into detail about that. I mean, we drop the gems. You got to look inside yourself and think about these topics that we're discussing. Like, look internally, and go from there.
Right.
Because you have to believe in yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I was always like, I want to get into sales. I wanted to be for a company that I like. I like to fish. Maybe it could be this company, or I like to hike. Maybe whatever. And at the end of the day, it's me believing in myself. So I'm selling myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's amazing. So now we're going to wrap it up here shortly. And this is one of the questions that you said was pretty good. So I'm going to maybe end on this one. What's one lesson that you've learned the hard way what's one lesson that you've learned the hard way but now consider foundational to your success?
Listening.
Active.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's like people throw this around all the time. They're like, active listening. It's just my definition for everyone who's listening to this. we keep mentioning write something down. I know a lot of people don't have a pen or a piece of paper available to them, but if you have an iPhone, it's so simple. You can just jot this down in Apple Notes. If you really want to like win someone's affection and you really want to be authentic too at the same time, write down a question and approach the person that you either admire, maybe it's someone you love, maybe it's someone you want to build a relationship with, whether it's business or romantically, and just ask them the question, write down their answer, and then act on it. A lot of times you're going to find that that's the best way to win, not to win, but to build a relationship. You're not cheating anything. You're like, how would you handle this? Oh, you do this? Well, okay, I don't really want to work out, but you said the best way to handle this is to work out. Like, yeah, that makes sense. Or you're with your partner and you're like going through a difficult situation. Ask them, like, do you think we're going through a difficult situation? How would you approach that? Like, how could we improve? Write down what they say. It's like instant form of flattery, but also instant way of leveling up. Because if you are going through a difficult situation and you want to like make that thing last, like I'm thinking about this, like I'm sharing like a really important lesson. My whole life fell apart in COVID. Like totally 100% fell apart.
You are not alone.
Like, yep. And a lot of it had to do with me not paying attention to what was going on. Like I just wasn't listening. And so now like I've had a lot of like successful relationships. I'm not saying like I would ever go back to the relationship I was in. It fell apart. That's what happened. You know, like anyone, if I could undo the past, I would. But like other relationships that I've had, like I've learned from that too. I've like broken up with them. I'm like, I could see we're going like in a crazy direction here. Like we have nothing in common.
You ever seen the movie Get Out?
Get out.
For real.
Write down what you're thinking. Write down what their answers are. If it's like so insane, you're going to know after 3 months whether you're dating a lunatic or the girl of your dreams. Or if you're like with a business partner, you're going to be like, either this is like going to lead to like some positive outcome or we're just going to keep spinning our wheels here, man.
Hey, shout out to my cousin AT, Alex Toward. That's hilarious. Let me ask you this. I wasn't going to ask you this, but it came up. Like, where do you see this whole AI thing going?
I think that's an excellent question. I imagine everyone who's listening to this is thinking about it. We're all using ChatGPT on a regular basis. People are pretending that they're not using ChatGPT. I'm the person who's going to say you should use it. You should combine it with your network around you and find useful ways of leveraging it.
Now, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me say this. Now, when you get a hammer, do you go fix something, nail, put up a picture in your house, beautiful, or do you bang yourself in the head with it? Think about that. Proceed.
I like that because it's like to a guy who is a hammer, everything looks like a nail kind of analogy. And like I think people are like, I'll just put it in AI. Just put it in AI.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I think people could use it for like dangerous things too. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
like, please be productive with
Yes.
it and just be nice and just love each other, man.
Right.
Like, stop the nonsense.
Like think about how many people are listening right now, and how many of you are listening to this and you want to improve your health, and how many of you struggle with the ability to like maintain a routine. You can use AI to create that schedule around your work schedule to build that first routine. Show up to the gym, show up to Carolina Family Jiu-Jitsu, make that time. You can find a way to do it, and it might require some changes. And just to have that one consistent thing that you're doing on a regular basis, but use AI to like develop that schedule, make that time. So I think it's a combined approach, but if people rely too much on AI, we all know where that's going to go. It's exactly what you said. It's dangerous.
What does legacy mean to you?
That's a good question, man. There's legacy and then there's legacy. Legacy is everything. So when people talk about legacy, they're like, I want to be remembered for this or that. I'm like, you're going to be remembered for what you do. That's it. And a good way of doing that, again, I'm going to keep coming back to planning, having a list of actions. You'd be like, check that off, check that off, check that off, check that off. Then you can go back, you can look at the scoreboard, and you can say, these are the things I've done. Because what success looks different to everyone, right? I admire you. You're very successful.
Likewise.
A lot of people listening to this should know, like, you are coaching your daughter's volleyball team. You're managing this podcast. You're influencing other people in this community. You're taking time out of your day to educate people. You're prepared. You're like working to make this a better world. And so to me, like, you're leaving a wonderful legacy, and people should see that. They should hear that. And I think the more that you share this content, the greater the legacy is going to be. And for me, my legacy is like, I got 5 things I'm doing today. I got 5 things I'm doing this week. I got 5 things I'm doing this month. Line it up, set it, forget it.
Man, you trying to make me cry over here, man? Come on, bro.
Making me cry,
Don't
dude.
do that.
You get me emotional over here. I'm sharing all this vulnerable information, bro.
Okay. For the audience, the listeners, how can they reach you?
So anyone who's interested in reaching out to me, my author email is theprinceofpurpose@gmail.com. That's my author email. You can reach out to me on Instagram. It's the same thing. It is The Prince of Purpose. I did not come up with that name. One of my mentors said, well, if it isn't the little Prince of Purpose calling me. I said, yeah. And to this day, I still listen to him, still follow his advice. So you can reach out to me at The Prince of Purpose. And if anyone's looking to orient their lives in the right way, I wanted to give something back to the world that I thought would make people's lives better. I have the Purposeful Planner out there. It's on Apple Books. I'm not going to lie. It's not going to be an easy week if you do it. But if you do decide to do it, at the end of that week, there's no going back. You will be wealthier, healthier, probably a little bit lovelier, and more connected.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Evan, thank you, bro.
Thank you
for being here.
Let's go.
Let's do it. This is, and will forever remain the Dap in the Hub podcast. Peace and love and respect. Got to get it together, y'all. Peace.
Thank you for having me. Awesome.
Absolutely, man.
Peace.